Sports Talk and Entertainment. Wanted to run it back a little bit old school because I want to talk about the John Mara comments about Daniel Jones. We have the first preseason game for the Giants coming up August 8th against the Detroit Lions. We have the joint practice on Monday and Tuesday. I'll be there one of those days. Haven't decided which. But I want to listen to the John Mara answer to the question about are you happy about the Daniel Jones contract and everything, everything that has gone along with that over the last year and change.
Listen, I'm still happy we gave him that contract because I thought he played really well for us in 22. Last year he got hurt.
See, the thing about this is, and I got to stop right away. I thought he played really well for us in 22. He played really well for us in 22 if it was 1977. Statistically, he wasn't even average. Statistically, he was below average. And everyone's going to talk about the 7-2 start. No one's going to talk about the 2-5-1 finish. But they're going to talk about how he played so well in 2022. But statistically, I believe he was 700 or 800 yards below league average. He was 7 or 8 touchdowns below league average. And people are like, well, Tim, you're only pointing out stats. I love it because when people want to prove their arguments, usually to me, they use stats. When I use them to defend my argument, well, I'm not looking at the whole picture. I don't know football. There's more to the game than just stats. Yeah, there's win-losses. There's a 7-2 start and a 2-5-1 finish. There's the fact that he hasn't played well since he's really been in the league outside of a handful of games here and there. Everyone talks about the rookie season, but really his rookie season was kind of delves down into 4 games. But let's finish this comment.
Let's be honest, when he was playing, we weren't blocking anybody. So let's give him a chance with a better offensive line.
But somehow the offensive line improved when Tyrod Taylor and Tommy DeVito were at quarterback. That's a quandary. That's a quagmire wrapped in a riddle. How all of a sudden did the terrible offensive line, which actually had less players that were starting when Daniel Jones was playing, all of a sudden start blocking better when another quarterback is under center?
Weapons around him to see what he can do. I was nervous about.
They talk about bringing in the weapons. We brought in the smooth sounds of Kenny G. He had Evan Ingram. We then turn around and drafted Kadarius Toney, Wan'Dale Robinson. He still had Saquon Barkley. You brought in Paris Campbell. You brought in the Darren Waller. You even brought in Golden Tate at one point. So at times we seem to be bringing in weapons after weapons after weapons, but there's no difference in the play. And all of a sudden, all these guys were just bad eggs. I always talk about Golden Tate, the Golden Doma from Notre Dame. Loved in Seattle, loved in Philadelphia. Comes here and he's a malcontent because he yells at the star quarterback, hey, throw me the ball. Perceived star quarterback. Hey, throw me the damn ball. This is what happens when you throw the ball. I make touchdowns.
Too much to go and get a quarterback, but I was prepared to let them do that if that's what they wanted to do. We made a decision to stay with.
Wait, hold on. We gotta go back and listen to something. I gotta go back and listen to something, man, because sometimes the devil's in the details. Hold on, guys. Let's go back a second here. Let's go back 7 seconds. I want to play something here.
Too much to go and get a quarterback, but I was prepared to let them do that if that's what they wanted to do. We made a decision to stay with Daniel and add a weapon for him. And I think
I was prepared to let them do what they wanted to do, but then we made a decision. I was prepared to let them do what they wanted to do and feel like it needed to go to get a quarterback, but then we made a decision. And I love when people are like, well, Joe, he's not, from watching Hard Knocks, he's not in the process of John Mara making these decisions. All Joe Shane. Well, really? Because he just basically said, I told him they could do what they wanted to do, but at the end of the day, we made a decision.
you've seen play.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, Daniel Jones is going to be your quarterback. Daniel Jones is going to be your quarterback for this year and next year, kiddies. And I keep telling you over and over again, why? Remember the fact that we are well over the salary cap once the Rule 51 breaks. We are well over the salary cap, not even with the $10 million in operational cap space that Joe Shane likes to have. We're well over the cap. So the only way to get under that cap is to renegotiate, I believe, the Andrew Thomas. We already did the Dexter Lawrence contracts. We're going to have to renegotiate the Andrew Thomas contract, probably offer him an extension, and we're going to have to renegotiate the Daniel Jones deal, which is going to push a lot of money out into 2025. Book it, guys. Telling you right now, book it, mark it down. It's just the way it's going to be. And you need to mentally prepare yourself for the fact that no matter what Daniel Jones does in 2024, in some capacity, he will be here in 2025. Will it be physically on the roster, or will it be a $35 million dead cap number that we are going to have to put into the quarterback bucket at that point in time? You have to think of it that way, because you being under the delusion that Drew Lock in year 6 is going to be the great motivator and going to be the great savior. If he's anything but Tommy Maddox, he's anything but Pittsburgh Tommy Maddox for that one season, I'd be shocked. Drew Lock, that is. Really, I would really be shocked by that. I have to talk about Mike Kafka for a second. Mike Kafka is taking the learning approach to the change in his role. Of course, Brian Daboll is going to be calling the plays. So he is Kafka, who is going to be he's going to be the Eric Bieniemy to our Andy Reid back in the old Kansas City days before Eric Bieniemy. Those that do not know, Eric Bieniemy, who was the coordinator for Washington, when he was the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs for the first couple of years, he didn't call the plays. He installed the game plan, worked with the teams during the week, and then Andy Reid called the plays the first 2 years. It wasn't until his last 2 years did he take over full play calling responsibility. Eric Bieniemy did. So I always thought that's what was going to go on with Kafka. And I find it interesting that we've kind of reversed that course. We kind of did it opposite. We let Kafka call the plays for 2 years, where he was overmatched. He was more than considerably overmatched with his play calling. So I always thought they were going to do the Bieniemy Andy Reid approach, but they're doing it the opposite. They let Kafka get basically blasted for 2 seasons. His offense was you can say what you want, you can feel what you want, but his offense was no different than Jason Garrett's. And so we now have a situation where the offensive coordinator or the offensive plays is now going to be called by your head coach. And he says, during the week, I'm helping Davis put together the offense, taking and talking about the schemes, talking about the players, talking about about our roster and what it looks like on the offensive side of the football. At practice, I'm helping complement the coaches and helping the coach and orchestrate how we're going to operate an offense as far as practice flows, organizational drills, and how we're going to do things. It's an open communication, and it's the things that pass through me and Dabes. We talk about how Dabes wants to run it, and then we go back and execute it for him. And of course, he didn't elaborate on what his role will be on game day. You know what his role is going to be on game day? Hey, Dabes, you want 2 sugars and a cream? Kafka was never a great hire. And we were always just worried that he was going to leave. He was going to take the Northwestern job. Well, he was never even offered a Northwestern job. He's going to go be this. He's going to get this head coaching job. No, he was never going to get it. He was never going to get a head coaching job. The idiocy wrapped around that was just crazy.
Are you crazy? Ow!
Yeah, I'm crazy. What made you think I was sane?
And that was the craziness always about Kafka. He was never getting a job. He was never going anywhere. They didn't want to lose continuity, the Giants did. After everything that happened with Wink, everything that happened to the big turnover on the staff of the defense, they didn't want to go the same direction with Kafka. They wanted to keep the continuity. But he basically got thrown out of his role. He should have gotten thrown out of his role mid-season in that first year, but he didn't. It's crazy. It really is crazy. And I love it because he also offered his opinion on Daniel Jones' deep passing issues. I got this real easy. He's just not good. It has nothing to do. I love, he said, it's not just physically, but mentally and psychologically and getting over the injury part of it. That's in reference to Daniel Jones' issue in training camp. Tell you a little story. Here's a story. I've always talked about it before. I had 2 ACL injuries. My first ACL injury was just a tear. I came back a year later. Then I tore not only my ACL completely, which is now my patella tendon is now my ACL, but I also had a tear in my meniscus, my mid meniscus, and my medial collateral ligament. So there is a physical impact that you have to get over injury wise. It really does. But as being a position player who is in contact on every single play, it's a little different than being a quarterback. A quarterback, you just have to get over the fear of being hit. You have to get over the fear of what happens after you get hit. As a position player who's involved, like an offensive lineman or a linebacker, when you're involved in contact off almost every single play, you need to push it out of your mind immediately. So for him to say that his inconsistencies with the deep passes because of the injuries, that's just another excuse for Daniel Jones. He's never been great with the deep ball outside of his first year. People will talk about the year that that 1 year he was 8th in the league in deep ball passing. Yeah, he was 7 for 13. The next player on that list at 6 had 40-something attempts. He had the lowest amount of attempts in reference to, he had the minimum amount of attempts in reference to deep ball passing that year. The minimum amount. I think the highest was 70 and the lowest was 17 with Daniel Jones. The problem is this, he's just not that good. Sorry, guys. People are like, well, this is a complete turn on for you defending Daniel Jones the other day. I wasn't defending Daniel Jones the other day. I said I felt bad for him. Because no matter what he's going to do, he's in a no-win situation. I love it. He's not flinching, whether it's the play, whether it's people up or whether it's people around the pocket. He's stepping up and throwing it strong. Yeah, he's also someone that's been at camp. I love people that do giant content. And I love it because there's a segment that they don't go to camp. They watch the highlights or the lowlights. And they're like, well, this is what's going on at camp today. Well, if you're not there and you're not watching it play by play, and you're only diagnosing the good plays and the bad plays, and you're not seeing what's in between, how can you give a fair assessment of what you're seeing? People are like, well, you haven't been doing a lot of videos about camp because I haven't been to the camp. I've been to camp, but I've been on 4 times now, but I've been to camp, but I don't do videos on the days I don't go to camp because I really can't give you a judge of what's going on at camp by watching somebody else's videos. To me, it just doesn't make sense, and it just doesn't work out that way. It just doesn't make sense to do it that way. Maybe I'm old school that way. Maybe I'm just stupid. Don't forget this Sunday. Guess who's back? Back again. New York Giants Live. Sunday Live is back. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Sunday Giant live stream. 10 a.m. every Sunday from now till the end of the season. We'll be rocking and rolling again, guys. And as always, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to ring that bell because you want to know why. That'll be awesome.